started their season last night and welcomed not just two new imports, but those old favourites, the Cooper brothers. A party atmosphere then, and a party pooper in the shape of the Southern Select's Gary Stephan, who opened the scoring, only for the Coopers to prove just how much they've been missed by fashioning an equaliser between them. But it was 5 goals at the start of the second period, with one from new import Trent Anderson, don't ask me how, but how many, that settled the issue. That old faithful Doug McEwen scored a couple in quick succession before another Canadian who's become synonymous with Cardiff, Shannon Hope, fired in a howitzer of a shot. But credit for the best goal of the night must go to local youngsters Jason Stone and Nicky Chin before Stone got in on the act himself. Ian Cooper got his second and Cardiff's 8th before Brad Grattan, that other new import, made himself feel a whole lot better with a belated 9th. 9-5 then, and not a bad workout.
There's loads of room for improvement, but based on that performance, you know, there's about half a dozen new guys there. They haven't played with each other before. It can only get better, and from what I saw tonight, I'm pretty pleased.
Travelled back home from Sheffield, £10,000 to the good last night as they won the richest ice hockey tournament ever staged in Britain. Their victims in the final, Nottingham Panthers. Sweet revenge, that, for some of last season's results, although the Panthers did take the lead through Nigel Rhodes. It could have been worse, too, if stand-in netminder Mike Kelland, only on the ice for a minute in place of an inspired Jason Wood, hadn't saved from Dan Dorian. But as it was, Nicky Chin had the equaliser set up for him by Doug McEwen, before that old adversary of the Devils, Chris Kelland, put Nottingham ahead once again. The active involvement of Messrs Ian Cooper and Nigel Rhodes came to an early end, as both were thrown out of the game for taking a slight dislike to each other. But Cooper's absence didn't prevent Shannon Hope firing the Devils back onto level terms. Then it was time to go in front, courtesy of Jason Stone, much improved this season, who fired in from the left before new import Brad Grattan wrapped it all up at 4-2. So for the conquerors of Bracknell, Billingham and Nottingham, not a bad weekend's paycheck.
Oh, we're hoping to win as many trophies as possible, you know, and we wanted to start off the night by winning this one, you know, so that's got us off on a good start.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty forward to this season. We got a good...
May sound like a firm of long-established Scottish solicitors, but no, Doug McEwen of the Cardiff Devils and Brian Wilkie, once a Devil, now a Bracknell Bee, were the dominant personalities of last night's astonishing Benson and Hedges Cup match in Cardiff, with Wilkie's free scoring, 5 in all, only bettered by McEwen's 6. Mind you, come the end of the first period, when they trailed 6-2, a Cardiff win looked about as likely as a dry day in September. But back they came, with Brad Grattan starting the road to revival, followed by Ian Cooper, who scored Cardiff's 4th, and of course the inevitable McEwen. It was the other new import, Trent Anderson, who hauled his new club level at 7 apiece, before Grattan again finally put the Devils ahead. Bracknell threatened a mini comeback of their own when Wilkie pulled the scores level at 10 each, before the Cardiff bandwagon gathered pace again to leave them clear winners at an incredible 16-10. Not one for the purist, maybe, more for the mathematician.
You know, it seemed to be a lot of goals that shouldn't really be going in, long shots and stuff like that, and rebounds. And it's just one of those nights. I guess both goalies on each side, you know, they had kind of, you call it a nightmare, but I'd say it was a good for the offensive players. They enjoyed their night.
We thought we'd get a result out of it tonight, especially 16-10. I mean,
win for the Cardiff Devils over the weekend, with last night's Brad Grattan-inspired victory over Slough, keeping them on course for the Benson and Hedges Cup quarter-finals. The new import, who mysteriously missed out on the Man of the Match award, had his best night scoring since he arrived in Cardiff, with no less than 5 of Cardiff's 9 goals against a Slough Jets side, where the Jets seem something of a misnomer. The 3 third-period goals were all down to Mr. Grattan. Not bad for someone who, by most reckonings, should have been home in bed with the flu. Not, though, that he's had the easiest of times settling in.
There's pressure everywhere you go for an import, and you just got to do what they want you to do, and if you don't, they can replace you just like that.
You reckon you're here, though, for a while?
Oh, I think I'm here for another week anyways.
Win at Bracknell last night. A win sparked by 2 goals from Nicky Chin, then cemented by a hat-trick from that other new Canadian import, Trent Anderson, who showed some nifty stick work to put the scoring seal on one of his most successful evenings since joining the Devils. Not that it was a completely convincing Cardiff performance. Yes, thanks to Anderson's goals, they were never really in trouble. But no, they hardly ever commanded, though Nicky Chin was a clear points winner in an odd bout of fisticuffs. His dismissal, curiously, inspired some of Cardiff's best play, with 2 excellent goals from McEwen and an optimistic forecast from Anderson.
I think if we keep playing the way we can and, you know, stop having the let-ups, you know, in mid-period, I think we can go all the way.
Lustre performance by the Cardiff Devils last night. No lustre and decidedly lacking, as they were humbled by a Basingstoke side with Cardiff old boy Jeff Smith pulling out all the stops in goal. Just once he was beaten by Ian Cooper to tie the scores at 1 apiece. But then it was Cardiff's defence that went to pieces as the Beavers rattled in goal after goal. To be fair, the result didn't matter too much. Cardiff knew, in terms of qualification for the quarter-finals of the Benson & Hedges Cup, it was all academic. They were already through to face Peterborough home on Saturday and away on Sunday. But in terms of confidence building, it was pretty catastrophic. Though coach John Lawless expects to have a new free-scoring Canadian import in the team by the weekend. And with an 8-1 defeat to a First Division outfit, even with Jeff Smith in goal, boy, is he needed.
I've narrowed it down, like I say, to 2. Highly recommended from people within the British game, within the Canadian game, within the European game. And this guy's got to have a little bit special. He can turn it on, get the puck, similar to what Mo was doing. And I've explained that to him. They know what is expected of them, and they're waiting to come over. It's now down to me to decide which one to go for.
It's horrible coming into Cardiff and having to play against my old mates and guys that I see on the street every day of the week. And when we played in Basingstoke, I was travelling down after we'd beaten Cardiff, and I felt a little bit. It sounds really weird, but I felt a little bit sad, to be quite honest. To me, it's part of my life that's over now, and it's quite a shame.
Their old rivals, the Nottingham Panthers, in next month's semi-finals of the Benson & Hedges Cup. And they'll be pretty confident too after eliminating the Norwich and Peterborough Pirates over the weekend, thanks mainly to 2 virtuoso performances from Doug McEwen, with 5 goals on Saturday, though admittedly some of them lacked his usual flamboyance, and another hat-trick in the away leg last night. Truly, the Pirates must be getting a little fed up of Mr. McEwen. Still, it's their own fault for cutting him adrift 3 years ago. Their loss, as they say, was Cardiff's gain. And after Brad Grattan interrupted the McEwen scoring solo, the modest Canadian got down to showing how when he's not popping them in himself, he's setting them up for the likes of Shannon Hope. Of course, he rounded off the 7-3 scoreline himself to lay the foundations for a 14-8 aggregate victory. And his only problem, he can't play Peterborough every weekend.
Some guys have a bogey team, but I think my lucky team is playing against Peterborough. And I mean, you start the game, you don't know what kind of game you're going to have, and they start going in, so you just keep playing. I mean, like I said, it's happened last year and the year before.
Form and the ITC card that hadn't been signed by the Italian Federation. That's the only thing that hadn't been signed. And so I guess, you know, legally, as far as the Ice Hockey Federation are concerned, he wasn't legitimate playing in Britain.
How long do you think, John, before one does come down? Can't say really.
No, you can't. Well, look what's happened. You know, I've had 2 guys sign. I've had one guy turn me down just before he got on the plane. I had a guy in here. He's in Cardiff. I picked him up, and then he turned me down. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my breath. I got to brush my teeth or something. I don't know.
Are you going to get one as good as maybe Tony Fiore was?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said earlier, this is the time of year where guys have been let down. They've had promises back home from NHL teams, and they might be just fed up with that system, and they head to Europe.
Cardiff, though, still beat Bracknell 7-5 in the Southern Cup.
Mae yna dipyn o fynd a dŵad wedi digwydd yn rhengoedd y Devils yn ystod yr ha. Rhai chwaraewyr yn gadael, eraill yn dod nôl, a rhai chwaraewyr yn cyrraedd am y tro cyntaf. Mae'n edrych fel tasai wedi fod yn dymor diddorol iawn iddyn nhw, a Devils Caerdydd sydd wedi cychwyn fel ffefrynnau i ennill y bencampwriaeth. Ie, ffefrynnau heb seren y blynyddoedd diwetha Steve Moria, sydd wedi gadael i reoli a chwarae i Blackburn. Un o'r nifer o chwaraewyr Prydain i adael y clwb, Peter Smith, ac ei brofiad rhyngwladol yn diodda oherwydd diffyg llwyddiant y tîm y llynedd. Ond yr hwb mawr am eleni ydy ail arwyddor brodyr Cooper, lle bynnag yr ant mae llwyddiant yn siŵr o ddilyn, tra'n Nghaerdydd ennillwyd y brif adran a'r bencampwriaeth, ac wedyn yn lliwio'r Durham Wasps yr un llwyddiant, Ian y blaenwr bywiog a Stephen y cefnwr cadarn. Yn lle Steve Moria, Brad Gratton, canolwr ifanc o Ganada, ac yn lle John Lawless sy'n canolbwyntio'r hyfforddi eleni Trent Anderson. Mae'r pwysau yn nhw'n aruthrol.
Peth mwyaf bydd yn digwydd, wrth gwrs, bydd y math o chwarae'n goffo newid. Achos oedd ffolon ni'n chwarae o dan Steve, ond ni'n chwarae ffynnu achos oedd Steve o canolbwynt y tîm. A chwaraewyr dyn da chwaraewyr yr un peth. So bydd rhaid newid y rai fath fel bydd y tîm yn chwarae.
Mis Awst yn Sheffield a llwyddiant cynta'r tymor i'r Devils a pethau na'r goelin dda. O'r 6 tîm a wahoddwyd i Sheffield fe gyrhaeddodd y Devils y rownd derfynol a chyro'r Nottingham Panthers i sicrhau gwobr o 10,000 o bunnoedd.
Mae hon wedi datblygu'n gêm dda yn y trydydd treian yma. Pas da i Jason Stone. Stone yr gydiodi mae yno. Jason Stone yn sgorio'r trydydd i Gaerdydd. Ac maen nhw ar y blaen rwan. 2 gol i'r Devils a 2 i'r Nottingham Panthers.
A chalondid mawr i gefnogwyr y Devils oedd gweld Brad Gratton yn selio'r fuddigoliaeth o 4 gol i 2 a dangos i fod o'n dechrau setlo i ofynion y gêm ym Mhrydain.
Maen nhw wedi gweld o'r dechrau bod y newid mawr, bod y waniaeth chwarae yng Mhrydain a chwarae yn Canada. Y tywydd y waniaeth, maen nhw'n chwarae pe mae'r rhewyd i fas. Maen nhw'n chwarae yn Gaerdydd o swydd, oedd un yn y 70au, ond nhw ddim yn ar arfer yna. Ond mae'n rhai roi amser i nhw, maen nhw'n gweithio pob gêm, maen nhw'n gwerthu pob ymarfer.
Ond y llwyddiant cychwynnol gweithio'r modd, bu'n frwydr galed i'r ddau, ac Anderson yn enwedig ddim yn darganfod yr hwyd mor aml ag yr oedd o a'r cefnogwyr yn ei ddisgwyl. Ar ôl dim ond mis, efo'r clwb, bu'n rhaid i John Lawless ryddhau Anderson i ganolbwyntio ar brynu chwaraewyr tramor gwell. Ac fe adawodd y pwysau o chwilio am chwaraewyr i farc ar berfformiad y tîm, gan orffen yn ail siomedig yn ei grŵp yng nghystadleuaeth Benson and Hedges, ond eto yn sicrhau ei lle yn y rownd gogynderfynol.
They kind of sensed that Trent was on his way out and they were thinking, well, okay, let's get this new import in, and it's taken a little bit of time. Unfortunately, when I released Trent, I hadn't had a replacement. I had a couple options, but I didn't want to make a hasty decision just to fill that gap.
Ond mi fysa yna rai yn gofyn pam fod yn rhaid i John Lawless boeni'n ormodol am arwyddo chwaraewyr newydd efo athrylith bythwyr fel Dougie McEwen yn ei dîm, ac yn ei harwain at fuddigoliaeth yn erbyn Peterborough Pirates ac yn cario'r Devils i'r rownd gynderfynol. Efo'r pwysau'n cynyddu ar y rheolwr, o'r diwedd ar ôl 2 wythnos o ddisgwyl, cyhoeddwyd mai Tony Fiore oedd y gŵr i lenwi sgidiau Steve Moria. Yn wreiddiol o Ganada, mae wedi chwarae'r rhan fwyaf hoci yn yr Eidal. Ond yn hollol ddirybydd ac yn chwalu gobeithio'n John Lawless yn llwyr, deirawr cyn i gêm gyntaf ddoe, penderfynodd Fiore i ddychwelyd i'w gyn glwb y Milan.
O fe droes i lan beth awr a hanner cyn y gêm hynno, oedd i wedi gwybod, John yn siarad efo chwaraewyr, oedd i fel cwrdd gweddi yna wedi gwybod, o pawb yn dawel ac yn methu credu beth oedd John yn gweithio nhw. Oedd y bachgen wedi dod draw a wedi bod mewn 6 awr yn Gaerdydd a wedi penderfynu mynd nôl. Mae rai penderfynu pwy sy'n mynd chwarae yn y llinell cyntaf, pwy sy'n mynd chwarae yn yr ail unedd, a chwarae fel patrwm a chwarae fan i drwy'r tren. Ac yn y pen draw, mae rhaid neu ni. Mae rhaid neu ni yn gyflym nawr. Mae gyngor yn dechrau penwythnos hyn, ond mae rhaid neu yn gyflym, i wedi gwir.
Y problemau mewnol, y Devils di'r ffefrynnau i ennill y gyngrau'r am eleni, ond pwy fydd yn brathu'r i sotle? Heb y brodyr Cooper, y Durham Wasps, enillwyr popeth dros y 2 flynedd diwetha, a chartre chwaraewr gorau'r wlad, Rick Brabant. O'r Alban, Fife Flyers, heb gyrraedd i llawn potensial, ond yn byrlymu y chwaraewyr ifanc disglair o dan hyfforddiant Jim Lynch, gŵr a blynyddoedd o brofiad yn y gêm ym Mhrydain. Nottingham Panthers, yn sicr, fe fyddan nhw yn curo ar y drws, ac yn ei sefydlogrwydd yn cael ei harwain yn ddyhaig gan Dan Dorian.
Well, I think it's good that we re-signed everyone that we had from last year. I think over here it takes time for guys to mold together, come together as a team, and yeah, I think it's a positive thing.
John Lawless, Nicky Chin, Doug McEwen, y brodyr Cooper, Brad Gratton, Shannon Hope, y gobaith, y gallu a'r ewyllus i lwyddo.
Gwaniaeth i ni, ni'n dechrau chwarae pob tymor, chwarae'n dda dechrau tymor. Wedyn hyn, dyn ni'n chwarae'n dda, ni'n ennill gêm, ond yn y pen draw, fi'n credu bydd yn chwarae'n dda, a bydd y chrio yn chwarae'n dda, wedi gwn da.
A stunning start to the new season for the Cardiff Devils as Stephen Cooper's shot was deflected into the net after just 13 seconds. But what a flop for the finale, as Humberside, who with brothers Sean, Stephen and Anthony, not to mention Dad Peter on the bench, had more Johnsons in their team than your local chemist, went into what turned out to be an unassailable 7-1 lead. Todd Bidner and Anthony Johnson it was who did the damage with goals that neatly alternated. Before, with just quarter of an hour left, Cardiff started one of those famous fightbacks. Doug McEwen made it 7-2 before the Devils called up the cavalry in the shape of a rampaging Shannon Hope, who knocked in 2 goals to make it 7-4 and incidentally clinched the Man of the Match award. Ian Cooper made the impossible dream seem possible again at 7-5, but it was too little, too late. Cardiff went down eventually 8-5 for a dismal beginning to the new season.
Really, I think we come into the game, we got a hyped up Thursday, new imports coming in. He lets us down, but even still, we're starting our games a bit flat. We got to come out with a bit of aggression and hit, I think.
So how do you put it right?
Just hard work, you know. We showed it in the third period. We got the team to do it. It's just getting it out of us a bit earlier.
But there should really be no excuse for going out flat, should there?
No, it's just up to the guys. We just got to get ourselves in a better routine to start us up. We just, even against Peterborough last game, we come out really
After
flat.
being humbled by Humberside and failing at Fife, those who feared a mauling by Murrayfield for the Cardiff Devils last night looked on a good bet when they trailed early on. But they reckoned without Ruggles, Hilton Ruggles that is, scorer of a quick equaliser. Then Cardiff took command with Shannon Hope firing in one of his specials and Nicky Chin regaining his scoring touch to make it 3-1 as the Devils' form and confidence flooded back. An Ian Cooper double either side of the interval between first and second periods made sure that any thoughts Murrayfield had of a dramatic comeback were no more than fleeting ones. It was much more like the Devils of old, particularly when Shannon Hope fired in yet another of those shell-like shots from way out. And even more encouraging was a much better performance from Brad Grattan, who set up Ian Cooper's hat-trick. Doug McEwen, who's been Cardiff's most reliable performer this season, got his first of the night as he tricked the netminder before new import Ruggles, signed up just 24 hours before, signed off with 2 typical short-handed goals, both the product of perseverance. So a 10-6 win for the first league victory of the season should do wonders for their confidence. If Devils' jigsaw should finally take to the ice at Billingham tomorrow night. Steve Cadieux, twice top scorer of the Cincinnati Cyclones, once a star of Quebec's top junior league, and now, after a hectic early season of comings, goings and almost comings, a Cardiff Devil. John Lawless snapped him up when his German club found itself with too many imports, an ill wind, as they say.
He got his release from there 5 days ago, and he went back to Canada and got a phone call. He was on the next flight. So he's very eager, he's keen, and you know, like I say, I'm expecting you know, high things from him because he's got a good attitude and a good recommendation.
I'm a player who can put the puck in the net, so everywhere I went, I always score a lot of goals, and I'm a good shooter and good skater, so I hope it's going to work for me in this country too. So I just need the chance to play, and tomorrow I'm going to show what I can do.
The early burial of the Cardiff Devils Ice Hockey Championship hopes enter 2 new imports and say hello to 3 straight wins on the road and a place near the top of the table. One of those new signings, Hilton Ruggles, set them on their way with 3 early goals against Whitley Bay last night, which put alongside 1 from Ian Cooper spelt a comfortable lead. Cooper was back to that nonchalant best of his. Witness goal number 5, as he totally embarrassed the goalminder, then shot into the net. But no one on the night bettered Doug McEwen's goal that added to the 5 he scored at Billingham on Saturday. Just skate the length of the ice, leave defenders trailing, and make the art of scoring look easy. Oddly, Cardiff relaxed and from 6-1 up suddenly found themselves under pressure as the Warriors showed some fighting spirit to rally to 6-5. A timely cue for a cracking first goal from that other new import, Steve Cadieux. After that, it was just a question of easing out into a lead that could never be caught. So 11-7 it was, and the pallbearers can put away their black hats for a little spirit of the Whitley Bay Warriors, an 11-goal walloping one Sunday, then back into the Lions' Den for another tanking 7 days later, probably not appreciating the irony of old boy Hilton Ruggles, who had much of the scoring against them. Ruggles is one new Cardiff Devils signing, Steve Cadieux is the other. And it was Cadieux who bid adieu to the Warriors' hopes with a superb first home goal. 3-1 now, and time for an old favourite, Doug McEwen, to get in on the act. Not that he's been out of it much lately. Claude Dumas proved that given the chance, the Warriors had a bit of fight in them, 6-3. But then McEwen, with one of those spectacular solos that's becoming a speciality, stretched the lead again. Hilton Ruggles rubbed a bit more salt into the wound, only for the best to be saved for the last. An astonishing save by Jason Wood on his back, and Cadieux was left careering down the ice with Whitley trailing in his wake. Deft stickwork and a finish that said a new favourite was born. There was quite a celebration too for the 13-4 win, but not one that overshadowed a very special 24 hours for another Devils player.
Yeah, it was kind of desperate, I think, because Julie's due for our second child and that, and it just seemed I missed a game on Tuesday up in Nottingham because we thought she was going in the hospital and a false alarm and that, and then we knew there was a game tonight and she was in the hospital yesterday, so I said, oh, no. And then there's Great Britain on Tuesday, so I said to her, if you want me to go to Great Britain, or to Denmark for the GB games and that, she said, I said, you're gonna have to have this baby soon. So obviously she obliged for me and had it last night at 2:30 in the morning.
Very obliging.
Oh, obviously, yeah. We had a little boy, 6 pounds, 10 ounces, and she's maybe the happiest man in the world.
Of the weekend, the Cardiff Devils, who stormed to the top of the Heineken League after 6 straight wins, and no doubt about the performer, Ian Cooper, who took 2 Man of the Match awards with 5 against Fife and 4 goals at Humberside last night. But one-man band it wasn't. Steve Cadieux showing how valuable he's becoming with a nifty second against Fife, before young Cooper took to proving that anything imports can do, he can do too, with another couple of goals that left a flummoxed Fife wondering how they'd been top of the table and Cardiff only second. But little did they know worse was to come, like Hilton Ruggles scoring when incredibly the Devils had just 3 men out on the ice against the 5 of Fife. Little good did it do them, while at the other end, whenever the fallen leaders attacked, there was Jason Wood to thwart them. The Cooper bandwagon continued with his 4th goal to make it 6-1 at the end of the second period. And the third period, well, it was all a little embarrassing, as the goals continued to rain in against a side that remarkably had downed the Devils 5-1 just a month ago. Such are the improvements that have been made. A 12-1 win on Saturday to go with a 6-3 victory at Humberside last night, and a 2-point lead in the league. So the views of goal scorer and goal saver.
Well, tonight we come out playing physical, and that really knocked Fife off balance, and they couldn't really get into it after that. I was getting a lot of long shots and didn't really get much to do other than the power play. That was the only time I had something to do. So I thought defence played really well tonight.
Why is it all coming right now?
Just the sign of 2 new imports. We're a little bit let down at the start of the season with the imports we'd signed, and we felt we needed new blood and someone that we knew that was going to be here permanent and we could settle down and get to know. And I think Steve Cadieux and Hilton Ruggles are the 2 guys.
Nice to see them back on top again. On to the weather prospects.
Top of the league, now almost into the final of the Benson & Hedges Cup. That's the Cardiff Devils, after Nicky Chin inspired them to a 9-4 first leg win in Nottingham last night. No chinless wonders these, as he scored 3 times in the first 17 minutes to give Nottingham, the team that knocked them out at the same stage last year, the idea that maybe this wasn't going to be their night. Hilton Ruggles ended the Chin charge with a 4th goal that put Cardiff 4-2 up at the end of the first period. And the second period, as they say, well, there was only 1 team in it. Ian Cooper got 1, to be followed in turn by McEwen and Ruggles, who added 2 short-handed goals in the space of just 27 seconds. Quick-fire stuff. Chin, who else, got his 4th of the night before McEwen rounded things off with the Devils' only goal of the final period. 9-4 then, and a 5-goal lead to take into Saturday's home second leg. Should be enough to see them into the first Benson & Hedges Cup final.
We got a pretty big lead,
but 4 goals or 5 goals isn't much really in hockey. So we're just going to play defensively. Our home fans will be behind us. Just play exactly the same as we did up here. Just outwork them and hopefully come out.
Any drop-off point, and there are lots of stars coming in here as well. At the moment, we have the Cardiff Devils. Big round of applause, Cardiff Devils. Well, hello, chaps. Now, you're signing certificates for people who bring their money in. I mean, how is the money coming in at the moment?
Well, it's coming in. It could be coming in a little quicker, but we just keep moving along here.
How are things going for you all as a team at the moment?
Well, we're flying. We're actually in a cup final tomorrow, and it's looking pretty good that we'll be making it to Sheffield for the final.
So you're busy. It's nice to see you. Thanks for coming along tonight. Very briefly, we saw you...
Cardiff Devils, an away draw with second-place Bracknell to stay top of the league last night, and a comfortable passage into the showpiece final of the Benson and Hedges Cup on Saturday. 2 Doug McEwen specials that bemused the otherwise solid Danny Thompson made sure that for all their huffing and puffing, there was to be no way back for a Panthers side trailing by 5 goals from last week's semi-final first leg. Nottingham did score twice to tie the scores up at 2 apiece at the end of the first period. But once Steve Cudjoe had made it 3-2 early into the second, and Ian Cooper added another, well, it was all over bar the shouting for the Panthers, and nearly all over for Dan Dorian too, when he discovered what it's like to skate full tilt into Britain's top defenceman Stephen Cooper. A perfectly legal bit of checking that left Mr. Dorian seeing stars without a telescope. Having done his bit at the back, the immovable object that's Cooper the defenceman became an irresistible force up front, scoring the Devils' 5th before Doug McEwen chipped in to complete yet another hat-trick. So a 15-7 aggregate win. And who's going to stop the Devils now?
The only team that can beat us is ourselves. There's a lot of good teams out there. Every game's going to be tough, but if we keep our heads, you know, we should win.
You've got hold of the cup now. You're going to give it away?
I'll just give it back to them, lend it for a couple weeks, and they can give it back to me.
His Premier Division, thanks to comprehensively clipping the wings of the Billingham Bombers over the weekend. 11-8 on Saturday, 12-5 last night. And if it sounds like a rout, you're right, it was. Once Ian Cooper put the Devils back on level terms at 1 apiece, that is. After that, well, the Bombers bombed. Steve Cudjoe made it 2-1 before Shannon Hope forsook his duties at the back, which, to be fair, weren't too onerous, and moved up the ice to rattle in a couple of goals that made it 4-1 at the end of the first period. The second period, well, it was business as usual, with Steve Cudjoe adding another 1 to the 4 he scored on Saturday, then the ever-reliable Doug McEwen chipping in with another 2, which had the bemused Bombers wishing they'd thought of some other way of spending their Sunday evenings, something a little less confidence-destroying. Just for a moment, though, there was a hint of a comeback when Paul Heavey poleaxed Peary to let Billingham back to 7-5. But just step up a gear and storm away again is the Devils' philosophy when threatened this season. And they did, with another 5 goals, including a cracker from Cudjoe, which bore the hallmark of class, and 1 for Cardiff-born youngster Lee Carson. And for new recruit Hilton Ruggles, the taste of success is a sweet one.
It feels great. You know, the club's working well. We're doing the little things right, and we're just trying to play basic hockey and capitalize on the other club's mistakes, and we just take one game at a time.
One of those funny games for you tonight. You hit everything bar the net for a while, didn't you?
Well, some days it goes like that, but as I say, with a club like this, it doesn't matter. We still got 12 on the board, and we still won the game, so it takes a lot less pressure off me. I know I don't have to go out and get 3-4 goals a game.
Panthers keeps the Cardiff Devils out on top of the Premier Division. 1 point ahead of Whitley, but with 3 games in hand. And once again, it was a goal glut, started by man of the match Hilton Ruggles almost as soon as the match began. The Panthers' flame flickered briefly when Simon Hunt equalised, but after that they were never to be level, always to be behind, as Jason Stone quickly put the Devils back in front. The cushion began to become even more comfortable when Ian Cooper made it 3-1, and then a moment to hark back to that Robbie Regan European Championship fight. Nicky Chin versus Paul Adey. Referee's verdict, 6 minutes compulsory rest and relaxation in the sin bin for each of them. The return to legitimate action had Stephen Cooper emulating little brother with the next score before Ruggles supplied another of his particular specialities, a short-handed goal. Nicky Chin, on one of the relatively few occasions he left the penalty box, got the 6th to much partisan acclaim, while another Ruggles goal left it 7-3 at the end of the second period. The third period, well, it was goals as usual, particularly for Doug McEwen, as the Devils eased to their best ever win over their old rivals. And perhaps appropriately, the last word in a 13-6 victory went to none other than Nicky Chinn.
I don't try and waste penalties. If I do take a penalty, I try and take out an import or whatever, but as I said, I haven't been playing that aggressive, and when I do play aggressive against Nottingham, they tend to retaliate because they don't like it. They obviously don't like me, so I know really that I can get them off their game by doing that, and it makes me pick my game.
The Cardiff Devils celebrating Saturday's epic 10-4 victory against the Whitley Bay Warriors that brought the Benson and Hedges Cup back to Wales. And the Cardiff Devils, back home last night, still celebrating. Well, why not when you've come out top from a cup competition involving Britain's 20 best teams and seen off one of your nearest challengers for the league title to boot? So no cup hangover for Cardiff as they demolished Bracknell in the first 20 minutes last night. Hilton Ruggles set it all up with the old 1-2 to settle any fears that this might be an after the Lord Mayor's show sort of occasion. And Stephen Cooper tossed in a few straight lefts a la Nicky Piper to point out they were in no mood to be messed around. Steve Cudjoe made it 3-0 and Bracknell's championship credentials began to fade away like an early frost. Number 4 wasn't long coming, just over a minute actually, courtesy of Jason Stone. And it was soon 5 without reply and a first period hat-trick for Hilton Ruggles. By now the Bees were looking thoroughly demoralised. Still nothing like a goal to perk you up, and nothing like an instant reply from Ian Cooper this time to bring you down to earth again. 6-2 at the break, then a rarity for British ice hockey, a goalless second period, though the post took a bit of a hammering from Nicky Chinn. So to the third period, and Jason Wood brought off some quality saves before 2 in 2 minutes from Stephen Cooper and Steve Cudjoe put it beyond all doubt at 8-3. So 1 trophy won, still top of the league. Who's saying Cardiff can't win the elusive Grand Slam?
Yeah, I've been asked that quite a few times, and I think that we have the team to do the trouble, but there's a lot of good teams out there, and I think if we play the same way, build on it a little bit, because the league and teams are going to get stronger as the year goes on, we can do it, definitely.
It's good to be in a position now that we're the team to beat. You know, you're saying there's a lot of other good teams out there, but they all want to beat us, and it's nice to be in that position.
And the table confirms the Devils' healthy league position, a point ahead of second-place Whitley, but with 3 games in hand. With a 2-goal lead, it was Humberside who produced the upset of the weekend. Hilton Ruggles got the first of those scores, Steve Cudjoe the second, as it seemed Cardiff would make it 22 games without defeat. But Humberside, experienced party poopers that they are, given the fact they're the only team to have won in the league at Cardiff this season, not only eroded that lead, but built on it to move into a 3-2 advantage of their own. Stephen Cooper pegged that back with an emphatic long shot, and after Humberside had gone ahead again, man of the match Cudjoe was on hand to level matters once more at 4 apiece. A Cardiff win now looked on the cards, but for once the Devils' defence creaked and groaned and let the Seahawks in, with even the normally ultra-reliable Shannon Hope making the sort of mistake that had him beating the ice in frustration as Dan Dorian took full advantage. Another late Dorian goal followed to make it a slightly flattering object lesson in how to flatter to deceive. Claude Dumas scored for Whitley with just a minute gone, and suddenly Sunday night a few hundred miles away from home didn't seem so bad after all. Or did it? Well, yes, actually, because after that the Cardiff Devils performance was all about finding different words that mean annihilate. Ian Cooper got the first couple of goals, and Whitley's early season pretensions to league honours faded away like an early morning mist. It was one long procession, Shannon Hope hitting home a shot from way out to make it 3-1. Then Doug McEwen chose the occasion to end his own personal goal-scoring drought by rattling in a couple more. It was all faintly embarrassing, and as ice hockey doesn't allow the referee to step in to stop further punishment, the suffering went on. Chinn's cracker was followed by Hilton Ruggles, making up for his enforced absence on Saturday by putting in a man-of-the-match performance that saw him collect 11 points in all. But close-run thing it was, with McEwen's 5 goals, including one that for speed, skill, style and anything else you care to mention could hardly be bettered. 19-6 it was then, a crushing win that proved a point after 2 defeats.
2 in a row, we're a first-place team. Everybody's out to beat us. And like I said, we just lack the intensity to go out and win. We play hard enough hockey to stay close or get within a goal or something like that, and then relax. And the other team is still pressuring us all night long. And being in first place, that's what the other team's goal is, to knock the top team off its perch. And it seemed to be working for them. But like tonight, our goal was to bounce back, really.
And the chase for the title looks to be boiling down to a 2-horse race, with only Murrayfield seemingly capable of catching the Devils. Their visit in February could be the showdown. Cardiff Devils, with 2 wins that included victory at the once invincible Durham. No more, though, as Steve Cadieux started the comprehensive walloping of the Wasps, to be followed by Stephen Cooper, showing how nice it was to be home again. Not a sentiment the Durham goalminder agreed with. And after that, well, it turned into the Hilton Ruggles Roadshow, as he got 5 of the next 6 scores, with Stephen Cooper providing the one interruption to the procession. Not a bad night's work for Ruggles when you consider he was to get another 5 goals at Whitley last night in a comprehensive 12-5 win. But back to Durham, and as the Ruggles goals continued not so much to rain as to pour, the Wasps decided desperate situations required desperate measures. So off went goalminder Foster, and on came goalminder Salem. Mind you, Salem's lot wasn't much better, as Ruggles bamboozled him with a shot he hardly seemed to hit. Time now for some local input, with Cardiff youngster Jason Stone getting a pretty good goal of his own, before it was the turn of that other Durham export, Ian Cooper, to wrap up the Cardiff scoring at a nice round 10. A couple of late Durham goals brought a touch of respectability to the scoreline at 10-5, but no sympathy for their old team from the Coopers.
I think the worst thing they ever did was get rid of Mike Blaisdell and Tim Cranston. I think that's what they're lacking at the moment, some scoring ability. Rick Brabant's out there by himself, more or less, with Damien Smith, and it leaves them a lot of work to do.
And those 2 wins, plus a shock Murrayfield defeat at Billingham on Saturday, now put Cardiff 4 points clear in the Championship, and still with a game in hand.
Devils ice hockey team wasn't the most memorable by their previously high standards. To rectify that, manager John Lawless has recruited old and new. Back are the Cooper brothers, Ian and Stephen. The emerging homegrown talent in the form of Nicky Chin, now a British international, coupled with new imports Hilton Ruggles and Steve Cadieux, have made the Devils the team to beat this season.
Weekend wins pushed the Cardiff Devils inexorably further along the road to the Heineken League title, although after Doug McEwen and then the Cooper brothers, Ian and Stephen, had given them a 3-1 lead over the Murrayfield Racers on Saturday, the victory might have been expected to be rather more comfortable than it was. But Murrayfield kept pegging away, as befits the only team with a hope of catching Cardiff, only for the Devils to once again step up the pressure and open a 6-3 gap. And despite the odd shiver of apprehension when Murrayfield narrowed the lead again to just 1 goal, it ended up 7-5. A gritty performance in tribute to Wales's a little earlier.
All we did was we just watched them. They had a lot of true grit there, a lot of hard work paid off in the end for them. So obviously that's something for us to follow. I mean, we go from there, and tonight was the business again.
The Devils now have a 10-point lead then, and mathematically need just another 5 wins to clinch the title. Full coverage of the Murrayfield match is on Face Off on BBC Wales on 1. Once in this attack-conscious game, the plaudits go to the defence, or to be more precise, to one Jason Wood, netminder for the Cardiff Devils. While those in front of him were doing what those in front of him should be doing, that is scoring goals against the fallen champions of Durham, young Mr. Wood was drawing the sting of the Wasps at the other end. By the time Nicky Chin, a couple of goals from Shannon Hope and Doug McEwen had made it 4-0, much of the attention began to focus on whether Wood could gain his first ever Premier Division shutout. His opposite number had no such problems, the limit of his ambitions merely being to keep the scoreline down, not the easiest of tasks against a rampant Devils. So Cardiff moved into a 7-0 lead, and when the end came, Wood was still unbeaten. The first time a Cardiff netminder had kept a clean sheet for 3 years. Not surprising he was mobbed by his teammates.
Well, out here in the British game, it's quite an achievement because the games are so high scoring. You go somewhere like North America and it's not so much of an achievement because the games are so tight, but out here I think it's more of an achievement than out there.
And talking of achievements, just 1 point now will be enough to make the Cardiff Devils British champions for the second time. That should come against bottom club Peterborough next
hero as the Cardiff Devils ice hockey team wrapped up the Heineken Championship with a 12-5 home win over the Billingham Bombers last night. In front of another full house at the Wales National Rink, he put them ahead after 3.5 minutes. But as the Devils pushed forward to make the most of their first power play, Richard LaPlante broke away to equalise. The Bombers then went ahead before Ruggles struck again to make it 3-2. He later completed a hat-trick and then went on to pick up another one, the goals coming one after the other to take the Devils out of sight at 10-4. Shannon Hope rounded off the scoring, and after beating Nottingham on Saturday, the Devils had completed a weekend double. Then it was time for the celebrations to begin, but with the Benson and Hedges Cup and now the championship in the bag, the biggest prize still beckons.
Now it's 2 down, 1 to go, and we got to get pumped up for the playoffs. And at the start of the playoffs, we got as much as chance as anyone else.
8 are divided into 2 groups of 4, with the top 2 teams in each group progressing to the championship finals, which are held at Wembley later this month. Today, we're concentrating on Group A and the Premier Division runaway champions, Cardiff Devils, who meet Whitley Warriors in their second match. Cardiff started the playoffs with a 7-3 win over Bracknell Bees. Just before the action, Paul Ferguson and Barry Davis set the scene.
For both teams, it's their second playoff game. Whitley getting an away point at Humberside and Cardiff winning 7-3 at home to Bracknell. And among the team lineups are 6 representatives of the stunningly successful Great Britain side. The Whitley side have 2, John Iredale and Scott Morrison, who finished as the tournament's top scorer with 10 goals. And for his club, he's up front in the starting lineup with Dumas and Longstaff. The 2 Cooper brothers and Doug McEwen and Shannon Hope were the Cardiff members of the British side. Cardiff already winners of the Autumn Cup, beating Whitley in the final, and indeed the league title. Their starting lineup include 2 from Montreal, Ruggles and Cadieux, and the goalminder who topped the league averages, Jason Wood, who though couldn't find a place in that World Championship squad.
Barry, Jason Wood is still only 21 years old. He's got a lot of hockey in front of him. It wasn't right at this time to take him along. A little inexperienced, a little too young. The GB victory over in Holland means that they now move on to Pool A. They were last there 31 years ago. They actually won the tournament back in 36. That's 57 years ago. The re-entry into the top competition in the world will mean that new players will take part. Hopefully, new spectators will come along to watch them. And hopefully, most of all, new sponsors will come to support the game.
Hope with a long shot, taken out of the air by Dixon. Big Mike Rowe starting things off again. In with a chase by John Iredale.
This is an unusual call, but the goaltender is going to get a 2-minute penalty for delaying the game. He, of course, won't go off the ice, but someone will have to sit in the penalty box. Now, Shannon Hope is over there talking to Taggart, and he's saying there's no plexiglass around the side, so what can the guy do? All he was trying to do is clear it against the boards, and it went over. In most rinks, you have a plexi situation. Watch this again. The goaltender gets it, shoots it into the corner, and as I stress here, most rinks would have plexi or netting in the corner. This place doesn't, so naturally it's going to go over, and that's cost him 2 minutes for delaying the game. Ian Cooper's gone into the box.
So Wood, the man against whom the call was made, and Ian Cooper serves it for him, and we have the first power play of the match. It's the 5th penalty, but it's the first time that one team has been short. And Shannon Hope doing a very good job. Who could have, we probably should have had a short-handed goal from a man who's an expert at them. Hilton Ruggles couldn't dig the puck out from under his skates.
Ruggles has had 14 of the 16 short-handed goals scored by the Devils this season.
Here's Morrison. This is quite well organised. That's Rowe. That's a good save, and it was very well whipped away by Doug McEwen after Wood got a pad to it. The promise of a really good match here. Here's Rowe in again, and it counts this time. good goal, power play goal. Mike Rowe for Whitley Warriors. It's his first goal of the playoffs to go with 2 assists in the first playoff game.
Scotty Morrison, quick to react here. Scotty with the puck, flips it over to Morrison, who's a defenseman, finds himself forward on the far side of the rink, keeps it on the forehand and puts it over the outstretched leg.
It's the Kadir line on again for Cardiff. Carson and McEwen either side of him. King and the skipper Heavey on defence. Break by Kadir. Holds it nicely. Good cover by Iredale. Look to get Martin King away.
Break.
This is Mowbray. Had a good season for Whitley. Just not offside. Oh, what a finish by Iredale. It was tight on the blue line, but the finish was perfection.
A great interception here at the blue line by Martin King. Look at this, he gets a stick in, he keeps it right on the blue line. Up comes the pass. A big shot there by Iredale, and again, Jason Wood is beaten. Martin King, very, very important interception at the blue line, and there's the goal into the far corner. 2-0 the score.
Time 7:59. Even though it's already 20, 23, 11, 7.
Assist on this occasion from Leach and Armstrong. And the first goal, it was from Morrison and Dumas. Terry Ord digging it out on the near side as we look. Davy Longstaff couldn't take. Here's Carson for Cardiff. Good solid check on McEwen. Morrison, Longstaff, and Morrison scores! Lovely combination between the two. 3-0 Whitley. And now there are some big smiles on the bench. Good goal.
Scotty Morrison said to me before the game, playing for GB in Holland was the best time of his life. Right now he's having a pretty good time too. Longstaff on the left wing gets the pass forward. Watch the break towards the net by Morrison. Longstaff on the backhand side, quick to react, gets it up. The goaltender goes down, and the shot goes up into the back of the net. Longstaff always so quick to skate forward and get that puck out front, right on the stick of Morrison. All he has to do is put it upstairs.
Out come Whitley. They, of course, have the advantage. 4-3. Good spin by McEwen. Now can he get up alongside Ruggers? 2-on-1. The one is Mike Rowe. Ruggers with a shot. Another good save by Craig Dixon. What a super period he's had.
That was a great shot by Ruggles. A quick wrist shot. He used the defenseman as a screen, and Dixon had to be quick to get the pad in front of that.
David Longstaff is the player to come out of the box. So it's now 5, and that's another goal. And it's Longstaff who scored
it. Jason Wood caught a little napping here, I fear. Let's watch this again. It's a wraparound from Longstaff. Ord is taken out of the play by Hope. McEwen misses it, and Wood is looking the other way. That's right between the pads and into the back of the net. Terry Ord, the big defenseman, comes in. Shannon Hope back in a hurry to take him out of the play. And McEwen casually goes in, can't get a stick on it, and there's the wraparound. Where was Jason Wood?
It's another power play goal, and 4-0 to Whitley Warriors. Comes down to Mowbray. We come down to the last 30 seconds of the period, and Cardiff now have a man advantage. Here's Ian Cooper.
Break.
Bit of space on the left side for Stephen Cooper. Another good stop. Very solid pads there seem to be that Dixon is wearing. And he's been agile too and full of concentration. Hope they backed away from him and he scores! They gave him the room and he took advantage.
In his younger years, they used to call this guy Shannon the Cannon. You can see why. He was left a lot of time. Everyone's backing in, stepping away, and so Hope says, thank you very much, I'll let go a 50-footer, and he puts it just under the crossbar. That's upstairs in the attic. From a different angle, Rowe backs off. Look, he's got a path. He could shoot all night here. Big shot going upstairs. Dixon couldn't get the glove up.
Craig Dixon will be very disappointed. He was certainly let down then. 4-1.
All right, are we about ready now? Sorry about that.
Playing for just 5 seconds. The only man left in the penalty box is John Ardale. But it's been a very good opening period for Whitley Warriors, who have a lead of 4 goals to 1. John Ardale looking a rather lonely figure in the penalty box. One has the feeling he won't be on his own for too long. We had half an hour of penalty minutes in the first period. Cardiff have twice come back from a 3-goal deficit this season. They've got to do it now for a third time. There's Hilton Ruggles, whose total against them in the league matches, 15 goals and 13 assists. Had a couple of chances in the first period, but didn't take advantage of either. There's Dumas for Whitley. Now, of course, attacking the goal to our right.
Settle down.
Comes out Cardiff's way. Stephen Cooper. It's a second chance. And Ruggles is to the left of Kajur. That's not offside, according to the linesman. No attempt to play the puck by Ian Cooper. There's a reason to call. That's an awkward bounce. Good digging by Ruggles. And Hope scores. Got all the way through. Don't think it got another touch. But Craig Dixon could have seen very little of that. There was a posse right in front of him.
Just 1 minute and 2 seconds gone on the period. Hope keeps it along the ice. Dixon has to be screened on that. There's a sea of white and red jerseys right in front of him. From this angle, we should be able to tell Dixon is there. He's got to keep the stick flat on the ice. He hasn't got it on right now. Here comes the shot in the net.
4-2.
Boys, we about ready? Let's go.
So how is that going to change the balance? Casual start, certainly. Casual goal. Suddenly Cardiff might be running. Dumas loses out. There's David Longstaff. Not perhaps the place to be doing that, and he was made to play. Kajur, the scorer.
Let's watch this again. Longstaff tries to bring it out front. Why? He had all sorts of room out there. Kajur spins around. Again, it's along the ice, and that finds the far corner. The goaltender could see this one. Longstaff perhaps touched off his stick by Ruggles, the spin around, and the goaltender is beaten along the ice.
Rowe. That's a useful pass if it had been taken, but it wasn't quite. Might still be useful. Penalty to be called as Longstaff comes down. And there'll be a power play for Whitley Warriors as Stephen Cooper goes away.
2 minutes for hooking.
So can Whitley take advantage of this? They've played 6 minutes and a bit of the middle period. Second power play for Whitley. Fourth power play for Whitley, I beg your pardon. There were 2 for Cardiff Devils. Comes out to Morrison, and he gets it at the second time of asking. So power play goal, their 4th power play, their 3rd power play goal, and a 2-goal advantage for Whitley Warriors.
28-year-old Scotty Morrison, now the proud holder of a British passport, breaks in. Watch the second attempt. He doesn't give up. He takes the shot, sees the rebound. For a moment, Jason Wood has lost it, and that's all Morrison needs. The pass comes up, and Scotty comes in from a sharp angle, doesn't worry about the stick going across the legs, picks up the rebound and puts it in the net.
Now, here's Kadir. Ruggles looking to go in, Ords with him. And Ardell trying to get his skating legs back after a long sit down. Takes his time. McEwen. Morrison and Rowe, Ord and Ardell doing a good job so far, but it's a face-off down at Craig Dixon's end.
McEwen teeing this one out, really looking to get a rebound. Nothing very serious for Dixon out there.
And out comes Morrison, and he's got support too from Iredale. Couldn't take it with him, bounced a bit unkindly for him on the boards. Down to Kadir, to Ruggles. Surprise shot that finishes up off body and over the top. Stephen Cooper down. A lot of bounce on the puck, 5 seconds left on the penalty. And Whitley at full strength, and Craig Dixon unflurried and untested. And we passed while all that was happening, which wasn't very much happening, the middle point of the middle period. So therefore the middle point of the match. Here's Ruggles. Ian Cooper waiting up on the blue line. And Ruggles goes for the shot that gets its way through. And an error this time by Craig Dixon. Disappointing for the man between the pipes, and Cardiff close in again.
This should have been a routine save for Dixon, but watch the quick release here. No fancy slap shot, whatever. Just a quick wrist shot, possibly using Ord as a screen. From this angle, we should be able to see. He cuts across the ice. The defenseman is right there, but just a quick wrist shot. Dixon isn't set.
And 55, Stephen Cooper.
King down that side. Simon Leach and Martin King. Casual stuff again. And now a chance for Cardiff on the break. And it's taken. It's all square at 5. And the goal scorer is Jason Stone.
A mistake by Mowbray way back at the other blue line. Stone has an option here. Can he shoot or can he go to McEwen? He decides to take the shot, and he comes up big. 20-year-old Brit who scored 17 goals, picks up 20 assists during the regular season play, finds the 5-hole here right between Dixon's pads.
5-5.
Well, that's a dramatic in the second period. Paul Ferguson and Barry Davis.
2:41 left on the period. 2-minute penalty. Chance for Cardiff to lead for the first time. McEwen, good stop by Dixon. And the follow-up too. Just dug it out, seemed to be almost caught by the strap of his left pad. Oak trying to wind Cardiff up. McEwen took it away from his man, and Ian Cooper was unmarked in front. Ruggles is now unmarked in front. Here he is, trying to set up. He's got Stephen Cooper, who couldn't bat it in. Out by Morrison. Only to hope, has to turn away from his red line because of the presence of Dumas. Ruggles. Stephen Cooper into the corner. And again, a Cardiff man gets the puck. Out though to Dumas. Morrison. They've survived for 1 minute and 8 seconds. Hope leads, Kadir behind. Again, it's just dumped in. Ian Cooper to collect. Ruggles just mooching around, now calls for it as he moves in, and Dixon is beaten by Kadir again. The pass to Ruggles didn't come. Instead, Kadir took it on his own, and Cardiff lead for the first time.
13-66. Power play goal here. Watch Kadir come in. Ord is standing out front. Ord is right there in front. No one comes out to get Kadir. He's allowed to walk right out and hammer that into the net. This shouldn't happen. Ord is in the wrong place. Kadir is allowed to come out. He should have been taken out at the post, not after he put the puck in the net.
38 seconds left in the period. Here's Hope. Mowbray. Almost got it through to John Iredale.
Break!
It's held in, but now Ruggles brings it out. Bit of hooking by Mowbray. And they've got a man over. That's a very good save, but he couldn't do anything about the follow-up. And Ian Cooper gives Cardiff a 2-goal advantage with 10 seconds left in the second period.
Again, a mistake by Mowbray. You can see him trying to bring himself back into the game, hooking on Ruggles. Ruggles gets it over to Cooper, who takes a big one-timer. The rebound comes out kindly for him, and all he has to do is tap it into the open net. This is how it looks from upstairs. The rebound is there, and Dixon isn't.
So 7-5, complete turnaround in this middle period. 15:36 left in the match, and the power play for Whitley Warriors. And Hilton Ruggles tries to come away. Took 2 to dispossess him. David Longstaff in possession. Gives it away to Hilton Ruggles. Real chance for a short-handed goal. Good save. Dixon really moved the left skate fast. Ruggles' second opportunity he's had for a short-handed goal, the expert at them. Close-up showed that he's one of the players that wears a face visor, which does save a few injuries. McEwen, that's a nice all fall down. It was Stephen Cooper who threw through the air with the greatest of ease, and Ruggles who goes in with the shot and the follow-up and battles back for it. McEwen being pushed away by Longstaff, and Ruggles tries to get it round and has succeeded. The lights come on. Ruggles scores a wraparound goal. Sheer determination got him that.
Great goal by Ruggles. He fought off Simon Leach. Look at Armstrong, spins him around. There's no one else to help him out. Hey, who does he need? Watch, everybody sees him go for his skates. Coming in is King. Where's the goaltender? He jams it in between the skate and the post, and that's in the net.
8-5 to Cardiff Devils, and as far as the Whitley fans are concerned, he's the last person they wanted to see score, because he's the player who left here having been a favourite for 4 seasons. The man over. Doesn't quite make it count. Kadir. Leach loses it for a second. Derek King watches the spin. Hope. Back off the back netting. Mike Mowbray. Rowe turns away. Cardiff come out with it again. Stone. King. Adieu. It was loose, and full advantage is taken of that. And McEwen scores a ninth.
Big shot as McEwen drops his back. He works right towards the net, looking for the rebound, which eventually comes. That squeezes out from the pads, and McEwen, all he has to do is put it in the open net. Big shot here from Kaju. And watch number 7, goes right towards the net. That's where he's supposed to be. No one goes with him, and that's so easy for him.
9-5 to Cardiff Devils. Morrison is waiting. And Dumas scores a lovely goal. But they needed it rather earlier. Not too much to celebrate in this final period, but that really was a goal of some quality.
1 minute and 9 seconds remaining in the game. Morrison breaks towards the net on the left-hand side. Hope goes down, Dumas goes in. He's got a lot of time, puts it down along the ice, and Wood is breaking. We were saying earlier on that Dumas was a bit quiet in this one. Well, he wasn't allowed to do a lot. On this occasion, he had a lot of space, and he made the most of it.
And Cardiff, with 2 wins out of 2, are definitely through to Wembley, and they're underlining exactly why they're favourites to add the playoff championship to their league success. As for Group B, it's Murrayfield and Nottingham who have victories under their belts, and you'll be able to see the meeting of those two on Grandstand on Monday afternoon.
Coverage of Humberside and Nottingham a little later in the programme. But Cardiff, they were league champions and strong favourites for this playoff title. Their semi-final against Murrayfield Racers. Paul Ferguson is alongside Barry Davis, who takes us through the teams.
The Cardiff Devils, looking for ice hockey's Grand Slam of Autumn Cup, Heineken League and Heineken Championship, have 6 survivors from their winning side in 1990. And of course, included in the starting lineup, the British Cooper brothers, who have each 5 winners' medals from this championship. But they face, in the Murrayfield goal, Bernie McCrone, considered by many to be the best in the British game. He's been signed on loan from Fife, signed on Tuesday when Marty Mackay broke a finger in training. Up front, Racers offers a starting trio of Chris Palmer, John Newbury and Tony Hand, who totaled 221 goals between them in the league season. That's 74% of the team's total. The man in charge is Glenn Meyer, and he's assisted by his 2 linesmen, Simon Kirkham and Lee Young, who is only 16 years old. Cardiff with the first shot on goal from some distance. Just an early welcome there for Bernie McCrone from Shannon Hope. Murrayfield in the lighter strip. In the league meetings between these two sides, Cardiff won 3 times to Murrayfield's 1, but the 1 was quite a whacking victory by 15 goals to 4. That was right at the end of the season when the championship, the league title rather, had been decided. Packed crowd as ever at Wembley. Cracking atmosphere, these two sides meeting for the first time since the memorable final of 1990, which ended in a penalty shootout competition. Here's Kajir and Nicky Chin getting ice time. It was thought that he was out for the season with a knee injury. Surprise inclusion in the Cardiff lineup. And his first pass was right across the slot. Chin still waits in front. Nobody back on the blue line, well placed. Heavey made a good move, but it was blocked in front. Arms down, shouts the referee. White comes out, and that's a good stop by McCrone. Then it's loose, and the opening goal goes to Cardiff. lost underneath the congratulations.
Rebound here. Big Nicky Chin was involved right in front of the net. You can't let these rebounds come out. Big shot coming in. The first save is there. White can't get over. Paul Hand is in the wrong position. That's tapped in the back of the net.
And the goal scorer after Nicky Chin's work, the man who picked up the goal, was Steve Cadieux. There's the 16-year-old linesman, suitably called Lee Young. And Shannon Hope moves away. He's on the blue line now. Not quite there, though. He was better placed initially. They're trying to get Hilton Ruggles in front. And it was away from Ian Cooper. Comes back again to Hope. Goes in. Threatens. Ruggles is wide on the far side. Cadieux tries to dig it out of the corner. 15 seconds left on the first penalty and counting. 2 men back on the blue line. 2 in front of the goal. This is Hope. This is Cadieux. Ruggles still waits. They're taking 1 man out. That's got to be wild play. I'm surprised the referee didn't call that, but he allowed it to go on, and Ruggles will be very thankful for that, because he scores the second goal for Cardiff Devils.
Ruggles on the power play, took it from beside the net, kept his cool, made Bertie McCrone make the move. Watch this. Here comes Ruggles. McCrone goes out for the poke check. That's all Ruggles needed. He took it around him and put it in the far corner. There's the poke check. He's committed, and that's in the net.
Martin Mackay, the injured goaltender of Murrayfield, is certainly very good at the art, but I would think McCrone will get the #1 ranking from most of the experts. Would you agree?
I would say so. McCrone is an exceptionally fine goaltender, without a doubt the best in Britain, but Mackay is right there behind him.
Mike Ware round the back for Murrayfield. Chris Palmer. Little under 4 minutes of the first period remaining. Cardiff 2-0 up. This is Palmer. Trying to change all that. Had to be taken back by Hope. Came over the blue line. Stephen Cooper with the shot. Rated the outstanding defenseman in Great Britain. Won the gold medal in Group B in the World Championship. Group A taking place at the moment. Round the back. Nobody on the blue line. Here's Ware. So it was Paul Hand. Here's Ware. Brings it out. Neatly taken by Tony Hand. That must have been close to being offside. Seemed to me that Palmer was ahead of Hand, but where was the puck? Here's Newbury. Trying to take on Stephen Cooper. No way through there. Still in the Cardiff end, but now a one-on-one. Ruggles on Paul Hand. That's the best check of the match so far.
Excellent one-on-one situation. Defenseman goes for the body. Forget about the puck. What a great check from Paul Hand.
Ware couldn't play the puck because Ruggles was making sure he couldn't keep hands on the stick. He got away with it. Good interception. That's gone loose. We've got one spare stick on the ice. And they nearly got Ian Cooper on. And, oh, there's another one. And Doug McEwen is the scorer. It's 3-0 to Cardiff. And John Lawless with every reason to be very happy, as indeed are the supporters of Cardiff.
Come on, guys, a better shift now, eh? Better shift. Foul.
10 goals, 11 assists in the playoff competition. 51 and 55 in the league season. And he's living a bit dangerously there. Not for long. Out come Cardiff. Hilton Ruggles waiting on the right side. This is Shannon Hope in possession. Ruggles goes in and scores a beautiful goal. But what were the defensemen doing? Goal applauded by coach, spectators and Cardiff players alike. But a break really from one end to the other. It always looked as though Ruggles was going to be the threat.
Ruggles with his second goal of the game. The French-Canadian showing how he plays baseball out there. The flip in from the wing. Watch this. Shannon Hope puts it up. Ruggles says, thank you very much. I don't need it on the ice. It's close enough, and that's in the back of the net. That's number 4.
Assist on the goal from Shannon Hope. 3:29 into the middle periods. Tony Hand doesn't take it. Pulls a few people in the process inadvertently. Picked up by Doug McEwen. And it's the other hand. Paul has got to come back and collect it. Bernie McCrone beaten 4 times. Had a season with Fife after starting with Ayr, but then they went out of business. And at the moment, not in business are the Murrayfield Racers. That really is a shot to the smack around the face for them. "21 shots now on Bernie McCrone, only 9 on Jason Wood. That's the balance of play. 4 of those 21 have beaten McCrone. He denies another. That's a good save from Ian Cooper. Tony Hands. Nobody right sides. On by Paul Hand. They had a man in front then. Palmer couldn't take it. Paul Hand again. 30 seconds remaining on the penalty. And that's a chase. And Ruggles is unmarked in the middle, and the pass is not true. Bit of an escape from Murrayfield. Stephen Cooper. 15 seconds left on the penalty. Cardiff still on the power play. But it hasn't looked so good, this power play. Here's McEwen, might now. Oh, beautiful goal, beautiful goal. He forced McCrone to make his move. Lovely goal by Doug McEwen.
At this point in the game, I would bench Mike Ware. This guy is a fool out there. Watch, he doesn't even come back in to take McEwen out of the play. All he's doing is trying to hit people off the puck illegally with cross-checks with his stick. Watch out front. Mike Ware is there, and he doesn't even come into the play. There he is. Doesn't even start skating. What is he doing? Great move by McEwen. Takes it on the back side, but nobody comes to get McEwen. Ware had the opportunity to cut him off. Boy, I'd put him on the bench and let him steam.
Mike Ware played 5 National Hockey League games for Edmonton Oilers, but very much on the losing outfit at the moment.
This is where Murrayfield should be very, very dangerous. They have 3 of the top 10 Heineken League scorers out there, along with Ware if he decides to play hockey, but Ruggles breaks in
and scores! That's his hat-trick, and that's the easiest of the 3.
Just when I was building up Murrayfield to go down the ice and do something positive, Ruggles takes it right from the face-off and makes it 6.
Positive doesn't seem to be a word in their vocabulary in this one.
In the first period, we noticed that Murrayfield were not taking the body. When you come out of a face-off like that, that's a sign that no one is hitting you.
3 hanging short of his coattails. No one in a position to do anything about it. It's 6-0. People will be starting even at this early stage to check whether there's been a shutout in the championship playoffs at Wembley. I can't think of one. Ruggles to chase. McCrone. Well, the nearest, checking the records with Gordon Wade, is a 5-1 score in favour of Cardiff against Fife. Semi-final of 90. They went on to win it. He's going to have to play it with his skates because he hasn't got a stick. Oh, whoa, that was late. That was late by Mike Ware. He's got to be called. He's got to go for that real elbow up.
Elbowing call. Exactly right. You could see that coming a mile away. Cardiff player Ian Cooper in the corner. He's no real threat. He kicks it away. There's the elbow. Why do that? That's stupid.
Palmer. John Newbury. 30 seconds left on the Cardiff penalty. This is McEwen. That's a better take by Tony Hand, who can't take that. Here's a chance of another one, and it is another one. Goal came out too late. Makes it 7.
Bernie McCrone must be wondering what he did when he agreed to come here and play for Murrayfield Racers. Cadieux, right in front of the net, waited for McCrone to go down. He had all day out there. There's no one around with a white shirt on. Look at this move.
So Stephen Cadieux, power play goal, makes it 7-0. 3-on-2 break, Ruggles in possession, then McEwen, then Ian Cooper bides his time. McCrone having to do everything. That came off Paul Hand, didn't know too much about it. McEwen, Ruggles, just too many people in the way, came off Paul Hand. Knocked away by Newbury, the crowd counting down the end of the middle period. And Cardiff are skating away with this semi-final. They lead by 7-0. And the last period, the key factor will be, will it produce the first shutout in the championship finals at Wembley? Tony Hand starts it. Palmer carries it on. Then Newbury. And then Ruggles. Oh, good shimmy. 2-on-1. Chance of a short-handed goal here. It's there. Beautifully played. And Ian Cooper is the scorer. It is just too easy.
A bad pass at the other end of the rink started this off. Ruggles coming down. Cooper is over there. Watch the little tip. Bernie McCrone goes down, but he can't do anything about it. The Devils are flying, and the Racers are not going to stop them right now. This could go into double figures.
Murrayfield Racers have twice in the past at Wembley, scored 13 times in the semi-final. And now on the wrong end of 8-0. Here's Paul Hands. Most people looked at this match and said, well, Murrayfield have blown it really. This is really the final between the top two in the league. No way has that been the case. And here's Hilton Ruggles. Couldn't get the second. And McCrone denying the follow-up from McEwen. Play down the ice. Newbury. Their coach has had no belief. 30 seconds left on the Cardiff penalty. Here's Doug McEwen. Another good save. Knocked away to Slater. .145 remaining in the match.
What a difference in the two teams. Cardiff were skating all over the ice. They're smiling, they're happy, they're enjoying themselves out there. Murrayfield just want to get off and get home.
Cardiff back to full strength. And surely Murrayfield should be really busting a gut not to be the first side to be shut out at Wembley. But that doesn't seem to have been in their makeup in this one. It's loose in front. McEwen scores another one. It's 9. And that's his hat-trick.
A moment ago, McEwen had an open net, and he thought, oh, this one's going to be easy, just like Cadieux thought, but it didn't happen. Bernie McCrone came up with a couple of big saves. On this occasion, McCrone couldn't do anything about it. Look at the pressure here. Cooper going in, being manhandled by Pentland. Good defensive work as he takes him out of the play, but McCrone truly out of the picture as that goes upstairs in the attic.
It's another power play goal, and history repeating itself as McEwen scored before after missing an apparently easier opportunity. So 1:15 remaining for the score to go into double figures and for the shutout to be maintained. That's the way around it's going to be. This is Mike Ware. This barges into Stephen Cooper, and we're into the last minute. There were 3 shutouts during the league season by Gary Brine for Bracknell, for Jason Wood against Durham, and for Ian Young of Nottingham against Humberside. Whistle goes, 44 seconds left. That's how long Jason Wood has to survive in order to achieve the first shutout in the championship finals. Mike Ware, Chris Palmer to his right. We're into the final 30 seconds. Ware, Stephen Cooper tried to get to it. Shannon Hope doesn't get it away. They've got a man in front, Paul Pentland. It was just turned away. I think it was a stick of Hilton Ruggles, and then kicked away by Shannon Hope. Down to 15. Tony Hand, the last wind-up as we come to the final 10 seconds. The crowd counting it down. Tony Hand in possession. It's not going to get his way through there. Ian Cooper, and they all go to surround Jason Wood, who's created a little bit of history for himself and for Cardiff. The shutout is achieved. It's the last Heineken Championship, and it's been given an extra footnote. We didn't see the true racers in this one, surely. They were beaten absolutely by 9-0.